Welcome to a new edition of the Right Wing Populist podcast. I am the Right Wing Populist. Sorry for the week break. I needed a little bit of a vacation. Just needed a break. But we're back, baby. A new announcement for the format of the podcast. We're going to be going 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. The episodes will be maybe a little bit shorter, probably 10 to 20 minutes. And on Fridays, I'll combine the episodes throughout the week and just post one big podcast with all the segments. So, yeah, Monday through Thursday, plus a Friday drop that combines the 4 episodes of the week. So, good to be back, and let's get into the show. So, I wanted to talk about Nick Fuentes versus Tim Pool. It's been a feud that the internet has been talking about nonstop in right-wing circles. And I wanted to talk about because it sort of brings us to sort of a divide we have on the right between, maybe the libertarian right versus sort of the contrarian, reactionary, some would say populist, but I wouldn't say populist, right? Between Poole and Fuentes. For those who don't know, I think most people know who Tim Pool is. I think Nick Fuentes is maybe a little bit more of, he's more online than Tim Pool in a sense, if you could be more online than Tim Pool. Fuentes is a little bit more fringe, but Nick Fuentes, he's sort of a white nationalist slash, reactionary, as I said. He calls himself a racialist. He famously was at the Capitol on January 6th. He got banned from almost all streaming platforms. He is very critical of Israel, very critical of Jews. Let's be honest here. He doesn't like the Jews. And, he's very far right in a sense. He was a big Trump supporter back in 2016 and 2020. I mean, he went to the Capitol, like I said, on January 6th. Big Trump supporter. But in 2024, he actually didn't support Trump because Trump wasn't right-wing enough, if you can believe it. So that's the type of guy Nick Fuentes is. Like I said, I think most people know Tim Pool, but Tim Pool is one of those sort of classical liberals that kind of went to the right because the left got so extreme. He's one of those types. And, like I said with Fuentes, he's the type of person that's obsessed with Israel. All he can talk about is Israel and how terrible Israel is. And, that's fine. You can be critical of Israel. The problem with Fuentes is that, number one, he's way too obsessed with Israel. He blames all the U.S. problems on Israel practically. And he also, let's be honest, he doesn't like Israel because it's full of Jews. He doesn't like the Jews. And, that's you can think what you want, but you shouldn't be against Israel because it's full of Jewish people. That's sort of retarded. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being Jewish, obviously, so that's the deal. So Tim Pool has been calling Nick Fuentes Israel first because all he wants to talk about is Israel. And Nick Fuentes responded to Tim Pool recently, and I wanted to play the clip and discuss it.
Tim Pool loves to do this tough guy routine. You can't do that with me because you're afraid of having me on the show. You can raise your voice. You can get your beanie all up in a bunch and all that on Timcast with your sycophants, with your numbskull idiot sycophants that you have on your show. You can't play that game with me. You're afraid to have me on the show. I want Nick Fuentes to hear this. Yeah, as long as I'm not in the room. As long as I'm not in the room to address it. Big tough guy, big intelligent genius. I know the argument that's going to destroy Nick Fuentes just as long as he isn't in the room to respond. Just as long as he's thousands of miles away. I'm easy to find. You know how to reach me. If you want to humiliate me and defeat me in debate, hey, asshole, bring me on the show. Say it to my face. Come on my show. You're afraid of your precious YouTube channel. You're afraid of losing your mainstream platform access, which I lost years ago. Come on my show. Do it on Alex Jones. Do it on Zero Hedge. Do it on Elijah Schaffer. I mean, literally, name the time, name the place. You want me to hear it? Say it to my face, bitch. Say it to my face. Don't get all pressed on your show with all your sycophantic losers that you pay to sit there and agree with you and you talk over them. I mean, those people be impressed by anything. And this is the game that he's been doing this for years now. I want Nick Fuentes to hear this. Nick Fuentes isn't ready for this argument. Will you have him on the show? Will you debate him one-on-one, have a discussion? Your morning show, your evening show, this show, on this other show. No, I can't do that because he's going to get my YouTube banned. No, I can't do that because he offended me when him and Ye got up and left. No.
Yeah, but Nick, okay, I'm going to stop playing the clip. Yeah, but Nick, that's the point. Tim Pool actually did have you on the show with Ye at the time. And then you both dipped. You left within 5 to 10 minutes. Kanye just got up and left. You could have stayed. I mean, Tim Pool didn't kick you out after that, Fuentes. You could have stayed on the show. And this is the point about Fuentes. He's a bad faith actor. First off, he's just a weird guy. I mean, he's the type of person. He'll say ridiculous things like, it's gay to have sex with women. I mean, he has said that, Nick Fuentes, unironically. Famously, he's a virgin. He hasn't had sex. He's not going to have sex till he's like 50. He's probably a closeted homosexual, Nick Fuentes, which is okay. It's Pride Month. We love the homosexuals. But that's the type of guy that Nick Fuentes is. And by the way, he's homophobic himself. Yeah, when Kanye, admits that he, had a weird relationships with his cousins when he was kids, Fuentes defended it. And look, I can understand defending perhaps a trauma thing regarding childhood, but considering Fuentes' past critiquing homosexuality, the fact that Kanye would admit something like what he did, if you don't know the details, I'm not going to explain it, but you can look it up about Kanye and his cousin. Fuentes defended it. It's like, you're not consistent. You're just a weird guy. You're not consistent. You're obsessed with Israel. And, Tim Pool accurately states that you're obsessed with Israel, and then you take great offense. And then you say, well, you won't have me on your show. He did have you on your show. Tim Pool did have you on his show, and then you left with Kanye because Kanye couldn't handle like a very basic, very reasonable question about why the fuck are you going on saying how much you love Hitler? Like, how is Tim Pool the problem here? You're the problem here. You're a weird guy. I understand. I have some sympathy for Nick Fuentes because he was banned off of everything. But he's not. It's not like he was banned for just being a mainstream conservative. He was banned for saying very, very, very edgy far right things. Again, he's called himself a racialist, meaning he talks about the differences between races and all that crap. He talks nonstop about how he thinks Israel and Jews essentially run the world and the United States. He's called Trump a cuck for Israel. I mean, Fuentes is a guy that refused to support Trump in 2024, yet when Trump won, he took credit for it on Twitter. He said something of the effect that, oh, we did it, we won again. It's like, what do you mean we did it, Fuentes? You weren't supporting Trump in 2024. Why are you trying to take credit now? I mean, he is a bad faith actor. I mean, that's just the reality. And again, Tim Pool is not perfect. Okay. He's frankly not the smartest guy. I'll give you this. Fuentes is more intelligent than Tim Pool. I mean, that's obvious. Again, I don't like Fuentes. I think Tim Pool is much better. But Fuentes does have a higher IQ. I mean, there's no question. I mean, Tim Pool struggles to defend his own position when he goes on liberal shows like, the Majority Report or, when he debates liberals like David Pakman, Sam Cedar, etc. So I'm not a huge Tim Pool fan by any means. I don't even listen to his podcast very much. I think it's often very boring. But he's totally on the right side of this versus Fuentes. Again, he did have you on your show, Fuentes, and you just got up and left with your boyfriend Kanye. And by the way, another thing is Nick Fuentes. He was like going around trying to help Kanye run for president. Kanye, this individual who's clearly suffering from, mental issues. Kanye, I don't think that's a controversial statement. Okay. I mean, the reality is Fuentes is not a serious person. He's not a serious political player. Okay. And again, I'm not for censorship, but, there has to be a line somewhere. And again, I don't support censorship. I don't think Fuentes should have been banned off all these platforms. He is on Rumble now. You can watch his content on Rumble. I don't really suggest it, but you can do it. Again, proving that Rumble really is a free speech haven. By the way, I like Rumble, but they really have to fix the ads. The ads are crazy. Even if you make an account, the ads are just absurd, but that's a separate story. But I will probably try to get this podcast on Rumble soon in the future. But It's a little tricky. But the point, Fuentes is not a serious person. And you can think what you want about Tim Pool. He has a huge platform. He's mainstream. He did much more to help the conservative movement over the last 8 years than Fuentes has. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, big reason why Trump made gains is because he did better with younger minority voters. That's the type of demographic that Tim Pool appeals to. I'm sorry, it's not the type of demographic that Fuentes does. All the Fuentes talks about is why he hates Jews and why white people are being replaced, and we need to support white people. And obviously, I'm not against supporting white people, but that doesn't appeal to minorities. I mean, come on. So yeah, Tim Pool's in the right here. He's right to call Fuentes and the Groypers Israel first, because that's this idea that Israel runs the United States is not true. Should we cut ties with Israel and support them less? Yes, but that doesn't mean they run the country. They don't run the United States. So Tim Pool's in the right. Fuentes is a retard, and I just thought it was good to talk about this because I'm seeing people go after Tim Pool. Tim Pool's not the problem here. Fuentes is the problem here. He's a fraud. Again, he was willing to. He admits he didn't vote for Trump this past election. He was willing to give us Kamala Harris. I mean, this guy is he's a little bit insufferable if you want to know the truth. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. So I will be back tomorrow with a new podcast. Thank you for listening. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Check out the website, rightwingpopulist.com. More content coming throughout the week. I apologize for the week's absence, but we needed a little bit of a vacation. So anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.